clear now that an employee is just one of thousands and a number on an Excel spreadsheet, as easy to remove as hitting the backspace key.
I don't know why you're not panicking. In 70 years, $100,000 will be worth only $10,000. And this is with average 3.4% annual inflation based on the last 5 years. And this is the most average low ball scenario. If we go the realistic expectations, which essentially means that the inflation will be even higher than 3.4% per year, this means that we might actually see this $100,000 melt buying power to $10,000 in halfway through time, 35 years, 40 years from now. Why are not you panicking?
Imagine working somewhere for 38 years and waking up to an email at 5:07 in the morning letting you know that you don't work there anymore because your job's been eliminated as part of a layoff. One person doesn't have to imagine that. Adam Bernard, a 38-year employee of General Motors, whose job was eliminated last week as part of a large layoff at GM.
You should be panicking. Your kids, you put $10,000 every single year, for example, in your kids' account, grow compounding without paying taxes or with specifically tax executed strategy, limiting your tax exposure. And in the end of the day, after 30, 40 years, they're going to wake up, they're going to think that they have $1 million, but they're only going to have $100,000. They're only going to have $90,000. This is why you should start panicking right here, right now. This is not some fugazi metaverse expectations, simulations. We run the numbers based on adjusted inflation with an average of 3.4%, which was the average inflation for the last 5 years. And it's not going to remain at 3.4% because the Federal Reserve will continue printing money. Don't ask me why, this is a very long topic for a completely separate video. But they're going to print more money. Printing more money will increase the money circulation supply, which will increase the amount of money versus all the products and services provided into economy, which will create the balance of the services versus the actual paper value of the money, which will push the inflation even higher. More money will be worth less. This is why we meant that if the inflation is higher than 3.4% every single year for the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, well then you don't have to wait 70 years to see the buying power of 100K going down to 10K. You may be waiting 30, 35, 40 years to realize that, you know what, the prices are absolutely sky high. You still get the 100K, you still have the 100K in your account, but the 100K can only buy $10,000 worth of items. Imagine if today you could buy, let's say, some small, very old house in the middle of nowhere, some small city in some, not so expensive state, out of the borders of the downtown for 100,000. In 30, 40, 50, 60 years, you may only be able to put a down payment for the same amount because it will be equivalent to only $10,000. This is why people should start panicking now, immediately. Okay? You should understand that the cash, what was looked at always a reserve, which was always looked as a backup plan. If your investments are not performing, if your job is not giving you a raise, if let's say the assets that you have, that you inherit, are not increasing in value adjusted with the inflation, well, definitely you should look into plan B. Well, a lot of people still don't understand this. They're looking, the market is choppy, the market is going down, their friends losing money on the markets, they're looking, the crypto guys are losing money, they're looking at the people who bought real estate, and after they bought the real estate, after they set up all the legal, the paperwork, they work with brokers, they find tenants, they fix everything, and then they finally decide to do the math, and they found out that it will take them 25, 26 years actually to make some money, not crazy money, right? And not to mention that the usual appreciation of the real estate is taken away from the property taxes, which are increasing every single year. So the little appreciation that you're going to get, even if you have bought the property for 100,000 and after 5 years this property worth 200,000, you make 100% on your original investment. But guess what? The property taxes for the last 10 years have increased 20-25%, right? So a quarter of your unrealized profits, the upside of 100K, goes straight towards your property taxes. Then don't forget, you also have to pay taxes on the gains that you have on the real estate property. So you have all these hustles and bustles. You have all this work, physical, time-consuming work. You're involved in huge liability, right? Sure, the tax advantages of owning real estate are outstanding, unmatched, of course. But at the end of the day, you don't really make crazy money with real estate. And this is why a lot of people now trying to sell their properties. Everywhere I've seen, you just go on the websites that are selling businesses, or their people list their businesses for sale. You could see people who own multiple locations. And not talk only about real estate, we're talking about people who own vending machines. People are selling the whole chain neighborhood route that they own with vending machines. Like, for example, you own Fifth Avenue, like 45th Streets, you have vending machines throughout this path. It's all yours. You want to sell everything. You want to liquidate everything. You go and see people sell home service businesses with multiple locations. They have built infrastructure. They have people who they service like regular clients. People want out, and you probably wonder why. Right? The same exact reason. When you realize that you're trading your time for money that are not actually getting more valuable but decreasing in value, well, you kind of put in the position that you exchange something for something else that loses value over time. So effectively, you are the end user, the end loser in this formula. So what people actually do, think about it. I'm gonna give you a very easy, simple example that you will be able to comprehend, right? A lot of people are using their checking account to pay off their credit card, right? But the checking account has no yield. You don't get interest on the checking accounts usually. Even if you get some, it will be the lowest possible. The smartest decision, even though might not make a huge difference, but it will make some difference, is that instead of having a checking account, you can have a savings account. And in your savings account, you pay off your credit card with your savings account. If you have, let's say, $10,000 in your checking account that you only use for paying off your credit card, right? If $10,000 sits in your checking account, you will be getting $1, $2 per month interest. If you put the same exact $10,000 inside the savings account, you will be getting $15 to $30 a month. You see what kind of a difference? You still use your savings account to pay off your credit card, but you're getting $50 to $20 to $30 depending of the APY that you're getting every single year, right? In your percentage interest, right? This is very, very important because a lot of people do the same exact thing, which effectively they're not only missing out on the opportunity to recoup most of the interest, but they're also missing out on the opportunity to not hold the cash inside the checking account. This is very, very interesting, and a lot of people do not know that you can use the savings account and paying multiple times a day, a week, a month, because there is a special limitations of moving money in and out from the savings account. But when we're talking about paying off your credit card bill, this doesn't really count towards. This is why you need to understand that. Why would you leave a free money on the table? Knowing that if you bank with the same bank, and if you have checking account and savings account with the same bank, why would you keep majority of it inside the checking account? That doesn't make any sense. And small examples like this illustrates that if you know some small changes that anyone can do, doesn't require specific skills, knowledge, requirements, qualifications. You just have to know and think about it. So when you get some money, when you go to the next level, when you finally find a way to generate some passive income, find a way to generate some very serious cash flow, find a way to have excessive capital on the side and being able to afford yourself to live to the next level, there are 5 things that you should definitely change. And this is not your regular normist type of consumer electronics or some luxury gadgets. Let me get into the details, and most of which will not be generally accepted. The first one, of course, will be your circle. You should change people who are around you. This is a big no-no for a lot of people. You probably already heard that you should stick to your old friends, all the people that you know, because you know their flaws, you know what to expect from them more or less, how they're gonna, say lies, be not genuine, everyone has flaws. The idea over here is that what I personally have learned is that when you start hanging out with different people from the next level, the level that you're just entering, you're learning so many things that you don't have access to learn anyway. I have learned things that are coming from people who have been 20, 30 years in business, that if I didn't meet them, if I didn't sit down and talk with them, spend time with them, I would never had access to this type of information, because it's kind of a side information. It's kind of a, this is what happened to me, this is how we actually approached. I reach out to this person, his legal team actually figure it out. Then we have to hire somebody overseas to prepare the paperwork. No, different channels of information, different solutions for different problems. If you just keep hanging out with your old friends who are most likely not business interested, it is very likely for you to kind of hit your plateau level and not progress to the next level. Think about the great entrepreneurs of this time. Think about Mark Zuckerberg. When he actually built Facebook, even during building the Facebook, even during Facebook, evolving and progressing, he kind of, moved himself outside his classmates, outside of some of the co-founders. Think about Eduardo Sauder, he pushed some of the people actually away. This is just give you an illustration that he built a brand new circle around himself. He surrounded himself with VC people. He surrounded himself with Peter Thiel. He surrounded himself with advisors and people who were more experienced in the startup industry. He didn't keep hanging out from Harvard alumni. He didn't keep hanging out with people from New York. No, he just closed the door for all the old connections and he opened the door for the new connections. So forget about all the stick to the old friend circles. If you want to go to the next level, you should open the brand new door and close the old door. The second thing also is, in my opinion, pretty non-negotiable. Time management. Listen, I could be considered pretty stingy person. I don't ever pay full price for anything. Always try to negotiate good deals, always get a discount. That's who I am. But if I tell you that if you can afford to buy a personal airplane or personal helicopter, and this is a game changer because this is a real life time machine, I'm not exaggerating. You will understand that the quality of life that you had previously, it's bullshit. The quality of life, not having to live on the lines like the normal people, not having to live by the rules of third party, airline company, not having to, stick to the small seats and wait for the delays and something might not be accurate, dirty seats, and all these small elements that destroy your quality of life. Once when you try the other side, the other experience, you will never want to go back. The real lifetime machine. Take an example of domestic flight that usually will take you between, let's say, on average, 5 hours. Considering time prior and after the flight and during the flight and delays and so on and so on. This flight could be drastically shortened by around 2.5 to 3 hours if you have a personal plane. You have people on your payroll. You have two pilots waiting for you. You pick up the phone. You can make an appointment 30 to 45 minutes prior you want to fly. You just call them. They're on the spot ready for you. Okay, this is big non-negotiable, especially when you consider if you can afford the very nice big helicopter. But we're talking about 5 to 8 seater, not the big one, 10. There is a helicopter that can reduce your travel time like crazy. For example, the other day I was looking why, if you want to go to Hamptons from New York to Hamptons by car, it's 4.5, 5 hours. If you want to take the train, it could be 6 hours, changing one train, second train, third train, right? If you want to go with the boat, even if you have a Thunder speedboat, it still will take you around 2.5, 3 hours, which is mind blowing. But what if you have a chopper? Well, if you have a helicopter, surprise, surprise, you can go from New York City, right, to Hamptons for 60 minutes. It's 3, 5 times your time saved. Absolutely 100% worth it if you can afford it. If you can afford to fly private, this is definitely one of the best things that you could do. Third important element also, think about how many people disregarding spending money on their health when they don't have much money, right? It's almost like when you're broke, the last thing you kind of focus is spending or investing in your health. But when people start making a lot of money, first thing they're gonna do the aesthetics, they're gonna do, people who don't have hair, they're gonna do the hair, they're gonna do the teeth, they're gonna do a lot of small elements, facials, aesthetics. Health is extremely important if you can actually measure the progress, not going above and beyond. Because a lot of people are following how much of each and every vitamin they can max out on a daily basis. They have 100% vitamin K, 100% vitamin C, 100% vitamin A. Right? They can try to max each one of these vitamins, but the measure of the actual performance or improvement of the overall health is hard to be measured. The health investment matters only if you can measure it. If you go above and beyond, might actually have a counterintuitive effect, might actually hurt you. Your performance. Think about people who are supercharged on the gym bros. You don't really get more strong or you don't get more pretty going over the board by getting more muscular or gaining more physical mass. It's almost like the people who are putting stickers from the racing competition on their cars. It doesn't make the car faster. That's so stupid. When you put the stickers of the car, it doesn't make the car faster or the small spoiler at the back. You should focus only on things that actually can improve. People who buy AMG package in Mercedes, you don't buy the outside interior AMG package. You buy the actual engine AMG extension that makes the car faster. Fourth important element, infrastructure. Any possible technological advancements that could improve your life performance, being at work or personal, you should invest in. I'm talking about any technology that you previously had idea to try, had idea to buy, will make your life better. A lot of the simplicity in our life is more or less connected to technology. Technology make life easier, which reduces the time spent on particular activity, which increases your free time. Your free time can either be focused on hobby or can be focused on another business. This is why technology infrastructure around you on a daily basis is very important. People use smart fridges, people use smart uh, lightning technology at your homes. You know exactly which time of the day, depending on the forecast. Tomorrow is going to be cloudy. I want tomorrow between in the morning between 9 and 12 before the actual real natural sunlight appears from the clouds. I want to have a more warmer light at home. I want to have the curtains to be open at 34 degrees, right? All these small elements of the technology that is knowing you and have a knowledge base plus memory learning on your behavior, on the parameters that you set based on the weather, based on the natural sunlight, based on your productivity, which days you're working, which days you're actually having days off. And the fifth important element, of course, will be building the connection around people who are dedicating their life building your company. Spend time, take care of your employees. A lot of people now these days understand this, understand that the human capital is very important. But now with the AI replacement, a lot of these business owners are forgetting that this will actually make the human capital more important, will make certain positions 10 times more important than they were prior. And of course, there will be human capital will not be needed, right? There will be people who will be fired and will never be hired. But the people who will keep their positions will be 10 times more important. Why is that? According to Cloudflare, now, as we speak, at the moment, we have over 50% of all the traffic online is happening through the AI agents. It's not happening to you humans. What this even means that at some point, this AI agents traffic or purchases or browsing or overall location-based data will be contributed by 80-90% of non-human accounts. This means that you need to have somebody who will be able to filter out and make sense out of this information. This is going to be a human. And this human will be in charge of actually not only creating systems to prevent, uh, you know, bad players on the AI agent systems, but he will also be in charge of creating systems that will help increase the sales, building the actual websites that will be suitable and will trigger interest from the AI agents. So these employees effectively that were previously trained to service your humans, being a good sales rep, learning how humans behave and being able to sell them whatever they want to sell. Now they have to learn the AI agents language. They have to learn how to pitch the AI agents, right? This is why the humans in your company who are most likely not yet fired and not going to be fired, they're going to be very, very important. This is why you need to really put the time, and you really need to show them that you respect them and you want to invest in them, and you want to make sure that they're also profiting from this new revolution, from this new technology, right? You want to make sure you're sharing the profits in some way. I'm not saying you do a clean cut from the daily profits right from them. No, I'm just trying to say that you should give them a special way growing the company to be able for each of these individuals to grow their personal network along the way. This is unlimited money glitch in real time for everyone involved in the company. Nobody wants to leave. No one wants to leave the work early. No one wants to be late for work because everyone knows that it makes them more money by being better at work.